So now let's actually start editing in DaVinci Resolve. So what are we gonna do? I will just open DaVinci Resolve here. And as you can see that I'm using the studio version, which is the paid version. But if you're using the free version, that's also really fine, because I think 80% or 85% of the thing what I'm gonna show you, that is all in the free version. So this is how you open your project. You go to Untitled, just click here, and you can, maybe I can just do DaVinci Resolve 20 Masterclass. And then you just do create project, and media location you can either do here on the desktop or you can change it, but this we can also change later, so don't worry. So you just name the project and then we go create. So this is what comes up. This is where I left off in the last section in my last project, and I can also see that I have this vertical video. You could have a horizontal video, doesn't matter. But before we go and start editing in DaVinci Resolve, there are a few settings that we need to change, because later those settings are almost impossible to change. So let's do that. First thing what we're going to be changing is the project settings. So if we go here, if you see here in the right hand side corner, there's like a settings button which says project settings. So I'll just open that. Hang on, I'll also just make it full screen. So you can see here project settings, and once I open the project settings, then this new window pops up, and on the left hand side there is a list of things, and we can go through all of that, but I would only show you what you need to know, because DaVinci Resolve, it's such a big software, so massive, and it can be really complicated. But in this entire class I'm only gonna show you what is required, because if I show you everything, then it's just so much information for you at the same time. Anyways, so what are we gonna do? We go to master settings. Here, as you saw that I had this vertical video open, that was because use vertical resolution was checked, so I would just uncheck it. You don't need to if you didn't have it. And then here we have timeline resolution. So timeline resolution is the resolution in which we're gonna be seeing the playback of the video. So even if you have shot videos in 4K, it doesn't matter. You can do the timeline resolution in 1920 by 1080, which is high definition. If you want the videos to play even smoother, then you can do the timeline resolution to 1280 by 720, which is the 720 pixels. But I would just keep it to 1920 by 1080, and here pixel aspect you choose to square, and timeline frame rate I would choose either 23.976 or 24, because all the videos what we're gonna be editing on, they're all in 24 frames per second. And something to really keep in mind, this is the time where you can change the frame rates. If you are editing a video and in the middle if you decide to change the frame rates, it's impossible. So you have to really be careful while choosing the frame rates. If you have shot everything in 25 frames per second, then you should choose the 25 frames per second frame rate. But here we're gonna be choosing 24, because all the videos what I have from my Sony camera, from my iPhone, from my drone, they're all in 24 frames per second. But in my previous class, someone asked me that, hey, half of my videos are in 24 frames per second, half of my videos are in 60 frames per second. Which frame rate should I choose? That was a really good question. And in that case, you should still choose 24 frames per second, because it's difficult to play a 24 frames per second video into a 60 frame per second video, but it's easier to play a 60 frame per second video into a 24 frames per second. If it doesn't make sense, don't worry. It's just super nerdy thing. Some of you might have this question, that's why I explained, but keep the frame rates to 24 or 25. If you're not sure what is the frame rate of the footage you filmed, go check in your camera settings. Whatever video I'm giving you, they're all in 24, so don't worry. But yeah, go check the camera settings at what frame rates your camera filmed the video at. We're gonna be doing this, and then here I wouldn't change anything. If something is different in your system, you can change it to this setting. Next, we're gonna be going to optimized media and render cache. So here, later on, I'm gonna be also showing you how to edit videos faster. You know, like sometimes our timeline is lagging, sometimes the video playback is lagging, then we convert the videos into proxy, and that helps us to, you know, have a smooth playback. So for Mac users, you can copy the settings, but if you're a Windows user, then you should choose this setting, the HQ DNX HRHQ, in all of the formats. So here as well, HQ, or if you want to go even lower quality, you can choose SQ, but I would just choose HQ if I were you and if I'm editing in Windows. And then here, project media location, this you can choose wherever you have empty space. So I chose the project media location to desktop just for the sake of this video. Proxy generation location. So this you really should choose the place where you have a lot of space or whatever drive is faster. What happens in DaVinci Resolve is that if you generate a proxy, so that kind of generates a low resolution video in DaVinci Resolve so that the videos can play easily. And that low resolution videos, if it's like 500 video clips, that would still need space. So you have to choose this location really wisely, that where I want my proxy media. This is not the original videos, what you would be editing. This is just the proxy media, and that you can delete it after you're done editing the video project. Cache files location, this also you have to choose wisely. Choose the places where you have enough space. And gallery still location, this also you can just choose it wherever you have chosen the other things. I will tell you later what are these gallery still location. It's not really needed now. So yeah, here we just changed the proxy resolution, you know, the proxy media format, the video folders location, the proxy and the cache folders location, and we changed the frame rate and timeline resolution. Blackmagic Cloud, I don't do anything. Image scaling, I don't do anything. Now here I do something which is really, really important. So in DaVinci Resolve, there can be a lot of videos on the internet about what color management you should be choosing. I have tried tons in my last 10 years of editing with DaVinci Resolve, and I have settled on this. Color Science, DaVinci YRGB. I have edited a lot of times in DaVinci YRG Color Managed. It was good, but I am really happy with this setting. Then Timeline Color Space, if you have chosen this, just unclick this, and then you do Timeline Color Space, DaVinci Wide Gamut Intermediate. Okay? And if you're a Mac user, choose Output Color Space Rec 709A to get super accurate color when you are exporting the video. If you're a Windows user, then you should be choosing Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. Just copy these settings blindly, it would all make sense later. If you really want accurate colors from your videos, then really choose these settings. So if you're a Windows user, choose this. I wouldn't do it because I am Mac user, and here I don't change anything. About the LUTs, you can also change these later, so really don't worry about that. And then we go to General Options. Here as well, I just don't change anything. Yeah, camera raw, nothing. Here, capture playback. If nothing is like this in your system, change it to this setting. It would save your life. Yep, I don't change anything. Subtitles, this setting you can change later, so I wouldn't worry about it. Fusion, nothing. Fairlight, nothing. Path mapping, nothing. So here I made some changes, but I don't want to save it. But if you want to save it, you can of course save it. And what you can also do, you go to this 3 dots here, and then you do, that's what I have done, save current settings as default preset. So what would happen is that every time you open DaVinci Resolve, all these settings would be preserved. So I have some different settings for different projects or different types of videos I edit, but my default setting is this. I just chose the use vertical resolution. That was a mistake, but my default setting is this. So you can do set current settings as default preset and then save it. I won't do it, but I would just maybe change the vertical resolution because we want the video to be in, you know, horizontal format. I hope that makes sense. So that was a general project setting. we need to do some other changes as well, and that's here. So if you go on the left hand side on the top, we have DaVinci Resolve, and then we go here to preferences. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be changing here memory and GPU. So whatever memory you have, just choose it to max, so that would help DaVinci Resolve to, you know, run the videos and everything faster, because then DaVinci Resolve would be actually using the real power from your system. So choose everything to max. Media storage, here I have chosen user ID movies because that's where I export the files. Like if I have a final video, if whatever is here, don't worry about it. We're going to be changing it later. Decode option, I do nothing here. If none of these is selected, please select it. Here, I honestly have never been here. I only go to these places when I have to teach DaVinci Resolve. I have not done anything here. Control panel, nothing. In general, we change something, especially for Mac user. If you're a Mac user, choose this tick, use 10-bit precision viewers, use Mac display color profile for viewers, and automatically tag Rec 709 scene as this one. And check for updates if you want to update your DaVinci Resolve regularly. So yeah, these are the 4 things you have to tick, but you can also just uncheck this box if you are a Windows user. Here I would check it, internet account, nothing, nothing. In users, you have to change something. What you're gonna be doing is you go to project save and load, and here what you need to be doing is you click to live save. And what this does is that if, for example, if your system fails, if you're editing a really big project, if your system fails, DaVinci would have saved the 1 millisecond before the project fails. So everything is being saved in DaVinci. You don't have to manually, you know, save it like how I used to do in Premiere Pro, which was a nightmare. So DaVinci is saving everything all the time. So even if your project just fails, everything crashes, you can reopen DaVinci Resolve and resume working on where you left off. Project backups, that also you should be ticking. Timeline backup, that also you should be ticking. And perform backup, you can do it every 10 minutes so that it's sort of backing up the project, but the live save is still on. And then backup locations, you can choose it wisely and really remember where you chose the location. So I have chosen it here. You can choose wherever you want. Color management, cache management. So whenever you're editing in DaVinci Resolve, the Resolve kind of generates a lot of cache files, which is like the files which is necessary when you are editing the... To be honest, I don't really know the best way to explain it, but the easiest way to explain it is that DaVinci Resolve is also making some files, random files. It's generating the random files when you're editing any video, and it is saving in a folder. And like a few months ago, we had to manually delete that every month because those little files would take so much space over time. And now you can like choose that DaVinci can automatically delete that. I have done 10 days, but if you kind of work on some video projects for more than 10 days, just do it for a month, just to be on the safe side, because I'm sure that you're not going to be editing any video project for more than a month. So yeah, really do that. Otherwise, your system would be so much full of all these random files, which you are never going to use. And if the cache files, they also accumulate a lot, that also makes DaVinci Resolve a little bit slower. So it's really wise to delete them. Editing, I don't change nothing here. Color, I don't change nothing. Fairlight, nothing. Playback, nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So that was it for project settings. And now let's get into DaVinci Resolve and just go through all these different pages.